Rogue Record.
What's up, everybody? You listen to Hustle Makes It Happen, a podcast about the grit, determination, and the mindset it takes to become a winner. Success is not an accident. It lives outside your comfort zone, in the trenches, where excuses are met by brick walls. So strap in, tighten up, and let's get ready to hustle. What's up, hustlers? Guess what?
What's up?
Season 1, done.
In the books, baby.
In the books. You have no idea how excited we are to be able to say that. And that is all a tribute to everyone that is watching this right
You know
now.
what I'm more excited to say, though? Is that we're going to have season 2.
Yep. Yeah.
And it's not because of anything that we did. It's because the support we got in season 1 was mind-numbing. Whenever we started the show, you know, we started with a goal. We knew where we wanted to go. We didn't know how it was going to be received. And then after seeing the support that we saw in season 1, we knew we were on the right path, and we knew we had to keep going. And because of the shares, because of people, you know, helping us grow and sharing the show like we talk about, we were able to hit over 15,000 downloads in season 1, which just opened up a whole bunch of new avenues for us to truck into season 2. So it wasn't us, it was everybody that shared the show. So
the overwhelming amount of support. This came to fruition for us in I would even say a very, not dark time, but just a time when we were working our tails off.
Yeah, man, grinding.
And for us to just kind of put it from conception, just thinking about it and putting it out into the world, and for you guys to latch onto it. And then, to be honest, our guests, they believed in us. They said they believed in the concept that we pitched them and said, look, this is what it is. It's about you, your mindset, how you've gotten to where you got. And they bought in and they walked in this door. And I'll be honest, our producer looked at us and was like, how in the hell did you guys get some of these guests season 1? So thank you to everybody that walked in the door to sit in that chair and let us pick their brains. And man, look, the stories that came in this room were phenomenal.
Yeah.
And I hope that you took as much out of that as we did.
Yeah. So this show is going to be the wrap up for season 1 and the intro into season 2. So what we want to talk about in this show is some of the things that we learned from our guest in season 1. We want to try to synthesize all the lessons that we've learned. And like we talked about all along, we've said the whole season, we do this as much for us as we do for all of our viewers and listeners. We're in a journey to learn and grow and become better human beings. Like, that is our sole goal in life. Between me and Chase and Garrison, our goal in life is to continually develop and improve the version of ourselves that we are right now. I mean, that should be, in my opinion, that should be everybody's goal. You always want to wake up and tomorrow be a better version of the guy that you were today. So, we did this as much for ourselves as we did to put out content to help other people grow, because we firmly believe in sharing the wealth of knowledge that we're able to draw out of our guests. But we want to take what we learned in season 1, try to synthesize all that up, pull the main lessons out of it, throw it out there, and then we want to give you all some nuggets for season 2. Since we've been blessed enough to be able to go into season 2, so that's where this episode's going to head.
Yeah. So somebody the other day, they asked me where this came from, and what was the purpose. They said they listened to almost every episode, but they still asked me that question. And I was kind of taken back by it. And once I started to realize, and I started talking about, you have a lot of platforms that give such great information of hustlers, but their stratosphere that most of these big time podcasters are putting out there. I'm not saying their information isn't good and their content, because it's great, but it's the 1%ers that they're getting on their show. They're, the basketball stars and the CEOs of multi-billion-dollar corporations. And look, everybody wants that.
That's right.
Yeah. Everybody wants that stratosphere level, but it's the 5%ers that are across the world that are killing it.
Yeah, it's a pyramid for sure. You know what I mean?
They're in every town, they're in every city. That's what we're doing. We're giving you these guys that are still killing the game in every aspect of their life and genre of what they're hustling in. But that's the platform we're giving to you guys. So it's kind of like I had to sit back for a minute and go, that's what we're doing.
Yeah, I mean that's what we talked about whenever we were, coming up with the idea for the show. Like there are hustlers everywhere. I mean, they are, like you said, at every block, every street corner. I mean, in every small town across the United States, there's a hustler in that town that is working his tail off to better his station in life, to provide for his family. I mean, they're all over the place. Yeah, the Elon Musks of the world and the Joe Rogans of the world, they're awesome to get on your show. Maybe we'll do that one day. We're not going to stop trying until we do. But man, those people they're the, I don't know, they're like the anomaly. You know what I mean? They're the 1%. They're the ones that really break out and make it, and that's due in no small part to their hustle and their grind. But man, that pyramid grows downward, and for every Elon Musk, there's 100 Justin Kings. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
There's 100 Celeste Gills and Cindy Haygoods. They're all over
Killing it.
the country.
Yep.
So that's what we want to talk about, man. And we're just going to dive off into it. I don't necessarily care to go like episode by episode and give you a list of all the things we've learned, but man, I can tell you one of the main takeaways for me personally was this mindset of balance. I think the people that really are crushing the game across the country understand that it's very challenging to run a business or be a leader of soldiers or be successful and balance that with their family life. You know what I mean? And that, for me, that's something I've struggled with. Is trying to find balance in my life between our business, our full-time jobs, now our podcast. It really is a struggle, man. And my wife and I talk pretty regularly, and she has to get on me sometimes. She has to say, like, look, all these things are important because she understands this is how we provide for the family. But what's the use in providing for the family if you're never there for them?
That's right.
You know what I mean? So that was kind of a common theme across all of our guests, was managing the balance of hustle and life. And that was a big takeaway for me.
One of the biggest ones I said across the board, and I mentioned it in a lot of episodes, was the meaning of success to people. And a lot of it was not an end goal. It was a feeling. It was the feeling that they had inside of them, or that it gave them when they did something. And that meant that struck a chord with me, because that's how I related. And I didn't know, I thought I was this only guy thinking about things like that, but it wasn't. Like, I'm listening to these people tell me what they feel, and that's what mattered the most to them. And that was a huge, like, eye-opening and kind of transformation moment for me, feeling that other people think like me in that sense.
You know what's surprising about that, on that point, is that that I think has helped me develop a little bit more appreciation for what we're doing, because I wasn't like that. Like, if you'd asked me before we started this show, what is your definition of success? It was goal-based. It was accomplishment-based or money-based or whatever. Like, I always felt like if I didn't achieve whatever goal I was trying to achieve, that I had failed. You know what I mean? And through listening to our guests, you learn that the ride and the waves and all of that is just as, if not more important than the end outcome. You know what I mean? Being able to go to bed at night and knowing that, you put it all out there and you tried the best you could, even if you don't end up successful. Justin talked about that in his episode, where he was like that early on in his career. And now as he's getting older, he's finding that there's joy in the process. You know what I mean? Like, the success is in the process, not necessarily in the outcome.
Right.
So, yeah, that was a huge takeaway for me too, because it honestly changed my mindset on it. Like, it allowed me to find happiness in the process rather than just solely being dependent on the outcome for my happiness and fulfillment.
That's right. Let's take another avenue. Let's talk about what makes people successful no matter what. And it's in our questionnaire. And I love to see the different viewpoints on it. Obstacles. That, listening to every guest and how it's like a no excuse.
That's so common. I did not expect that to be so common. If we'd have known that everybody was going to say, man, you just got to grind through it. Like, because that's been the consensus, right? Everybody's just saying, if you run an obstacle, pound it, just hit it.
Find the way around it, in it, through it, over it, under it. It doesn't matter, right? And that's what they all said, all different ways that they came to the same conclusion, but pretty much the same road.
Yeah, a lot of them would like stop and back up and come up with a plan. A lot of them would just power through it until they figured it out. But nobody said that they give up on that avenue and go try to find another one. Like literally no one said that.
No.
And I guess if we'd have known that the answer would have been so standardized across the questionnaire, maybe we wouldn't put it in there, because now I feel like, oh, okay, yeah, no duh. But yeah, so man, obstacles. I think we're both like this anyway. Me and you were both like this. You can't take an obstacle as an excuse not to do something. And I think that's where a lot of people kind of go wrong, is they look at what could happen or what kind of things can stop them from doing whatever they want to do. And that thought process, you'll go down a wormhole with that and just start thinking about every little thing that can go wrong, and then you just won't start anything. You know what I mean? It's just not a good strategy if you have goals.
One of the things that I think has made me feel a little bit better about the way that I approach things is Cindy Haygood talking about stop looking so far ahead. And it actually wasn't just Haygood. It was Justin Vincent. They had little tidbits of the same information when they said, like, be the best whatever, XYZ that you are in that job, that role today. And the things that you're looking so far ahead, if you're really focused on being the best at that, you'll keep climbing that ladder without even necessarily. It kind of will present itself to you if you keep pushing.
Yeah, what's really interesting about kind of the way I think about and the way I apply what General Haygood said in her episode to us and what we do in our business is that she said you don't have to be the best everything every day, right? She said be the best at whatever you're trying to be right now. I kind of took that and spun it and applied it to our own life, to where on days where we're focusing on podcasting, I want to be the best podcaster that I can that day. But at the same time, like, I understand I have, we have our land development business. So on days we're working on land development stuff, we don't focus much on podcast stuff. We go be the best at that day. And then the days that I go spend with my family and I'm learning this, I'm like, it's a constantly evolving process for me because we're still pretty new at this. But whenever I'm with the family, I try to don't look at your phone. Don't worry about what's going on in the business world. Don't worry about what's going on in the podcast world. You're being a dad today. Like, go be the best dad that you can be today. So it's okay to, you don't have to solely focus on one thing, but you need to try to focus on one thing at a time and be the best at that. So if we're doing podcasts today, we're going to be the best podcasters. If we're, going to build a house tomorrow, we're going to go be the best doggone house builders. If we're spending time with the family, we need to be the best dad and husband that day. Like, that's kind of how I synthesized what General Haygood said in her episode.
You're a great podcaster, Justin.
Thanks, man. You're all right. You're all right. So going through, I like kind of going through the questionnaire and just looking at how there's such a commonality between all the guests and a lot of the questions that they answered. So, like, what do you do when you don't feel like doing anything at all? How do you motivate yourself? It seems pretty common that people tell you that it's okay to step back from the grind, take a break, reset your psyche, and then go in with a clear mind. I mean, that's pretty important.
So mine every year, and this year's a little different because of we just had a new addition to our family. But me and my wife every year try to take time to travel. And I mean travel with me and her, and the kids were, they're still a little young. But when we go out there and we travel and we're seeing and immerse ourselves in their culture and people and sites, and some of the sites actually take me back because God made all that. And it brings me back to, like, my core of, like, why I'm hustling and why I'm doing my things. And when I come back off of that travel experience, I'm recharged. I'm ready to dig my heels in. And that's for a year. I'm digging my heels in for a year because I don't travel again like that for another year. So me and my wife talk about it a lot, and that's my recharge.
Yeah, I like doing like small, like weekend trips. You know what I mean? During hunting season, I'll go out to the woods and totally clear out. Because I mean, bro, whenever you go sit in a deer stand for 5 or 6 hours a day and do nothing else, you can really start processing your thoughts, processing what's going on in your life. Like that's my release. It's going out for a weekend or whatever and getting in the woods, getting quiet, and really focusing on what's important to me. You know what I mean?
So season 1's wrapped up. What's a huge takeaway? Not maybe the biggest, but just what's something that stuck with you season 1 that you find it maybe you're implementing it, or it's something that it's commonly coming back into your brain or you think about?
Dude, I really think it's what I just said a few minutes ago. I think it's like focus on being the best at whatever you need to be successful that day. You know what I mean? I'm not a great multitasker by any means. I'm really pretty bad at it, to be honest. Like if I have too much going on at one time, it seems like I try to do a little bit of everything and I really don't ever get anything done. So I think taking that lesson of like focusing on what is the most important thing to me today and focusing solely on that for that day, at least for that day, that's helped me out a lot. Today we're doing podcasting, so I'm not really focusing on anything else, right? And then this weekend, me and the family are going out of town, so I plan to like take my phone, shut the phone off, and focus on being a good dad. Focus on being a good husband. That really, I think, has been the main takeaway for season 1 for me. What about you?
I would say mine's it was the mental health episode.
Yeah, man, that was a banger.
I took key things away from someone that I listened to that struggled. She gave her story and was super vulnerable to come on air like that and to listen to the things that she was thinking about. And then see some of the things that happen out in the world. They had just recently, in the last couple months, I think it was in May, maybe, there was a 12-year-old boy who was getting bullied in school a lot, and he hung himself in his bedroom. It's somewhere in, like, middle America. And he came home with a black eye and, and listening to her that she was, she got bullied and she had some things, and then she went through bad marriages. And when she started to talk about dumping her problems on the people that were not emotionally equipped to handle her problem. That it still resonates with me now. There's been some people that I've known since that episode has aired that has talked to me about their mental space, depression, things they're going through. And for me, there's been days I'm like stressed out, and I have let them know I am not able today to talk to you in that space. I'm not equipped today. I'm going through my own things and I cannot take on. And there's been days that I'm like, I'm rocking and rolling. I feel good. I'm not stressed. Everything's moving and gelling right. And I told him, I'm like, I can take on what you're about to dump on me and tell me, like, let's have this conversation. Like, I'm your safe space right now.
Yeah. Dude, there was so much in that episode because I fell into that stigma of not the stigma, but I fell into that group of people that like were always afraid to talk about mental health. Like that was me. I didn't like if somebody came to me and told me and it's not good because I've been in leadership positions in the National Guard where I've had to have those conversations with people, and I was so unequipped for those conversations. I can tell you after talking with her, like I am so much more prepared for those types of conversations.
And we need to have those conversations with our kids.
Yeah.
Especially in today's world. And that's part of the reason why. So that was a huge takeaway for me for season 1. Along with, I mean, I can't digest season 1 in this podcast episode that we're doing right now.
Yeah.
There was a lot of lessons dropped. I learned a tremendous amount about myself, about our guests, about who I want to be, where I want to go, how I want to project myself. So, I mean, season 1 worked. Ding! I'm firing better than I did from May 1st when we dropped first episode.
That's right. Yeah, it's time to take that, crank it up a notch, and roll into season 2.
Oh, season 2. What's happening in season 2?
And season 2. So I think the formula for success in season 1, like we proved the concept. You know what I mean? We did the proof of concept in season 1. So in the business world, you have a successful proof of concept. What do? You start scaling. So in season 2, we're not changing the formula at all. We're going to bring you hustlers. We're going to bring you everyday people that are crushing it in their game. We're going to bring you someone that have made, taken the next step and achieved a little bit more
notoriety,
stardom. Yeah, and it's not success because they're equally as successful, but a little bit more notoriety. So they were able to take whatever they were doing and kind of crank it up and bring it to that next level. So we're going to bring you those. I think one of the key highlights is going to be in the season premiere. So I'm not going to tell you who it is, but I'm going to tell you the guy we're bringing on for the season premiere in season 2 has seen an incredible amount of success, not only in his current occupation, but really in his whole life. And he's a little bit older than us. He's not super old, but he's older than us. So he's had a very long and distinguished career, just grinding and building.
And just we'll give a little hint. He's a fellow podcaster.
That's all we'll say.
But his story, which we'll pull out and we'll get to deliver to you guys, is he's had a multifaceted career. So
that's right. That's what
it's not a one-laner, and you'll get to see the transition. And as in everything, he's a storyteller just like we are.
That's right.
And we get to tell his mental story.
That's right.
He's been on a bunch, but not this one.
What's so awesome about it is that it seems like everything that he's done, he's been really, really good at. And those people are kind of hard to find. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, absolutely.
So getting to sit down and talk with this guy and figure out what has made you successful in almost every step you've taken in life, you've found a really high degree of success. I think this is going to be a really, really valuable episode, and I'm stoked about it. The audio and video versions of our shows are on the website. So you can go to the website, start the audio format of the show and close the browser and listen just like you were listening on any other podcast platform. So aside from the player, the merch store, the swag shop, whatever you want to call it, is active. So we got our Hustle Makes It Happen tees. We have crops for women. We got some Hustle water bottles, which I don't have one in front of me. Shame on me. And then we're going to throw some hats on there. And then the swag shop is just going to continue to grow. So if you guys want to support us, help us spread the word, or you just want an awesome t-shirt to go pal around in the gym in, hit us up on the store. You can order, we can ship it out to you, whatever. Also on the website is a link to our sponsors page. So why don't you take this?
Yep. So with this comes bills, ladies and gentlemen. And with that comes that we've actually, once again, we stepped out of our comfort zone and we leveraged people and businesses that we wanted to team up with first. And guess what? People believe in the message, and all the people that we've talked to and that we decided that we were going to try to cold sell, sponsor ad space to, we never got a no. We got hell yeah. And that is a great feeling because, ladies and gentlemen, if you're watching, all this equipment is not free. And this is, everybody's like, oh, yeah, I'll just do my podcast in my room and everything's cool. Well, guess what? That's not the way this goes. This is expensive. And are, I think, blessed in every means to say that, the format of the show is going to be a little different for season 2. The reason why is because we've teamed up with some great companies and businesses in our area that have jumped on board. So you'll see some ad space kind of jumping in and out of the episodes, and you can find them directly on our sponsors page, which is great. You can see who they are. It'll be links to their websites, what they do out in the community. And listen, we didn't just walk into somewhere that had an advertising budget. We were very selective on who we wanted to be a part and that streamed on our show. So
yeah, look, I guess our personal preference, whenever we started talking about this show, we talked about not running ads at all. And then we ran season 1 and footed the bill for season 1 and then realized that wasn't really an option. So because we had to make the decision to go after sponsors, we went after sponsors that we think are in line with our our values and our what our listeners and viewers are going to be interested in. So we filled 4 of the 6 available ad slots that we have left. So we have 2 left. I anticipate that they're going to fill up pretty quickly. But if anybody listening, or if anybody, shameless plug, if anybody's listening that is interested in advertising on Hustle Makes It Happen, the podcast, we got a couple of spots left for season 2. It's out there. It's there for you if you want it. Hit us up on social media and we'll make it happen.
Holler at us.
Last thing that I kind of wanted to touch on that I don't think we did a really good job of putting out in the world is reviews. So, we say every episode, we say, if you want to help us grow, share the show. That's awesome. You guys did that. And man, it paid off. I mean, it paid off in a big way. It paid off in a way that really humbled both of us. Whenever we think about the fact that through 10 episodes, at the time we're recording this, through 10 episodes, 15,000 people have hit play to listen to what we have to say. I mean, that's a very humbling notion. You know what I mean?
I don't even know if I can grab words to express that to people through a lens or a camera or a microphone. We to have something that you dream up and that you put out and that people are starting to grab a hold of it. It's a wonderful feeling, and you feel like you're doing the right thing.
Yeah. So I think you guys helped us a ton by sharing the show and helping us grow. You did exactly what we asked, and we can't thank you enough for that. But going into season 2, let me tell you what can help us as much or more than sharing the show and helping us grow. That's leaving reviews on iTunes or leaving reviews on Apple Podcasts or Spotify or whatever. So the way that those, I'm not a professional at this. Jim is the guy that is the algorithm daddy, the algorithm master. Apparently the way these algorithms work is that the more reviews you have, the more relevant your show becomes in the world. So when people are looking for motivational type content or mindset type content to help them grow personally or professionally or whatever, that professional and personal development content, the more reviews you have on these platforms, the more likely your show is to be rated to them. And we said from the jump, our goal is to help as many people as possible by getting these hustlers in front of them. So helping us grow and sharing the show, you guys crushed it.
Keep doing it.
Going into season 2, please start dropping reviews. And it can be, some stars.
And subscribe.
And the word good, or some stars and the word awesome. It doesn't even have to be an in-depth review.
No, not some stars. 5 stars.
5 stars. Drop a 5-star review. And then, just tell us what you thought. I mean, look, and we've said this before in the show. We look at every review we get. We look at every message we get. We look at every text message.
We discuss it.
Yeah, we talk about it. So, if you guys have something to say about the show, please, 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 please leave us a review, a 5-star review.
And I hope the people that have reached out see that we take the criticism and or ideas, because some of the ideas that we've spun off have come. The whole mental health episode came from someone that was struggling in that space and said, I would like to hear from someone who is doing well now that has battled mental health. Bingo.
Yeah.
We took that exact concept and we put it out in the world, and it was a great episode.
Yeah, that's it. So, anything else for season 2? We talked about upcoming guests, talked about the website, talked about the merch store, sponsors. We talked about reviews. Oh, our sponsors. The ones that did sign on, thank you. We literally would not be going into season 2 if we couldn't go out and get sponsors. So we're not going to say it on this episode because we're going to start airing sponsors in season 2, but we have some awesome sponsors, and we cannot thank them enough. They, it's not because of us; it's because of these sponsors that we're able to continue to bring this content to you. Because we got to the point at the end of season 1 where we had to sit down and have a very serious discussion about whether we were going to be able to keep this going. So we thank our sponsors, and we want our guests and our listeners and our viewers to thank them as well by supporting them. So that's it, man. What else? Is that it?
Cannot wait to break bread on season 2.
Man, I'm so excited. We're just gonna. Hey, the concept is proven. We're just gonna keep it going.
That's right.
It's awesome. So that's it, guys. That's the season 1 wrap up and season 2 overview or intro or whatever. Thank you again. Thank you so much for the success that you guys had in helping us grow to the point we are, where we're able to come with another season. We couldn't do it. We literally could not do it without you. So, man, we're so thankful. And that's it, guys. That's it. It's another episode of Hustle Makes It Happen. Till next time, keep your head down, keep your eye on the ball. Hustle makes it happen, but most importantly, have fun. Out of here.